This is going to be a very special program. It's something that we worked on. We're very happy to be doing this in collaboration with Public Affairs and the Consular section. And just to give you some background on the special senior advisor, David T. He's the senior advisor of the Bureau of Consular Affairs since April 2014. Prior to this assignment, he was the division director of the Bureau of Human Resources, Office of Career Development and Assignment, senior level division. From 2012 to 2013, he served as coordinator for Interagency Prevention Affairs at the USMC Kabul, Afghanistan, with oversight of all U.S. civilian prevention and reconstruction teams throughout Afghanistan. Mr. Donahue was Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Visa Services in the Bureau of Consular Affairs from 2008 to 2012, where he managed visa operations for around 225 visa issuing posts overseas and directed visa policy for the State Department. He has also served as the Director of Policy Coordination and Public Affairs for the Bureau of Consular Affairs from 2007 to 2008, and Minister Consular for Consular Affairs in Mexico City from 2005 to 2007. I proud to say he's my boss in Mexico during that time, so it's a great privilege to work with him there. Mr. Donahue also served tours in the Philippines, Pakistan, Singapore, Trinidad, and Tobago. Other domestic assignments include serving as march officer in the State Department Operations Center, Bangladesh S officer, and consular training instructor at the Foreign Service Institute. Mr. Donahue joined the Foreign Service in 1983 and is the recipient of numerous awards, including the Presidential Meritorious Service Award. Mr. Donahue was a native of Indiana and graduated from St. Bernard College in 1976. He's married to Sheila Donahue, who is also a member of the Foreign Service assigned to the Bureau of Human Resources. There were 2 grown daughters and 2 grandchildren. So, once again, on behalf of the embassy, on behalf of the consular section, we welcome you to this Eastern Line program. And now we'd like to give a warm welcome to David Donahue, Senior Advisor of the Bureau.
Well, thank you all very much for being here today. It's such a great pleasure to be back in the Philippines. I see so many faces that I've remembered from my time here before. So many great memories. I had an opportunity at the beginning of the week to go down to Cebu, and actually my brother teaches at the school down there, at the national school in Cebu, and Nipa in his backyard, and he said, "Well, you have to speak to Nipa. More comfortable in the house." So that was great. We also had to bicycle around in Cebu. So it's always a pleasure to be in the Philippines. I have so many warm memories of being here with my family, and again, warm relationships we have in the consular section, and warm relationships we build in the work services we provide to American citizens, to visa applicants. So I appreciate you having me. I want to thank Don for the introduction. Again, one of the great joys in the Foreign Service is working with Don in Mexico City, where she managed our largest immigrant visa processing post in the entire world. The U.S. Department of State wants young people from around the world to come to the United States to study. Where I work in Washington, I'm right in the middle of a college campus, George Washington University. And every day as I walk down the street, going between the State Department and my office in the headquarters of Consular Affairs, I hear so many languages along the street because George Washington is an international school. And it enriches that part, it enriches my day to walk out and see that this is this very vibrant society, and it's exchange of ideas and thoughts, and that the folks are going to bring back to their own countries all they learned, and in the meantime, they're contributing so much to our country. So we want to see a lot more Filipinos going in the United States. We have a long and rich tradition going back over 100 years together, working together for the advancement of the Philippines and relationships with the United States. and we'd like to see a lot more Philippines in the United States. Senator William Fulbright said, education changes can turn nations into people, contributing as no other form of communication can in humanizing of international relations. And as consular officers, we feel very deeply inside us that it's people-to-people relationships that is the most important thing. We negotiate with your government, they negotiate with us and with other governments. We work in international forum to improve the world we have around us. But the most important thing in democracies particularly is what does the average person feel about the other country? And without going there and living there for a while, it's hard to really understand different cultures and points of view. It doesn't mean we always agree, but it means that I understand where they're coming from. And just as you make a friend, you may not always agree with your friend, you may most of the time, but if you understand that friend, if you spend some time with them, if you spend weekends and holidays, then when those differences come up or you disagree on something, that's fine. So that's one of the main reasons that the Fulbright program is found, is that Senator Fulbright developed it. Or those who want to come for additional training and short-term work opportunities. The United States has partnered with Philippine American Educational Foundation to create 8 advising centers around the Philippines to help students learn about educational opportunities in the United States. These opportunities range from studying at a U.S. university for 1 year during your undergraduate career or completing a PhD. These advising centers have a wealth of information on scholarships in affordable universities, along with tips on how to apply and to write an admission essay. One of the things that we grow up with in the United States, and I remember this with my children, in fact, I was working with them when I was here. They were studying in the United States, but before that, it is a process, and people are often scared away by the process because we don't just admit people, we make them go through a fairly extensive effort in applications, essays maybe, and we want to know that people are ready when they come to the United States. But it's not impossible. We have over 800,000 students, international students, studying in the United States, and many of them from countries with much different cultures where the application process is more difficult, or people who are unfamiliar with the English language who get through the process a lot of times with assistance of organizations like the Philippine American Educational Foundation. So it can be done, but like the next 4 years, if you're studying in a 4-year college, it takes effort. And when you go to a university in the United States, you'll have to put out that effort. It's not just being there, it's achieving, it's learning, it's taking all the wealth of it. And I'm going to give you a little hint for those of you who are intending to go to the United States, something that someone said to me when I was in college. They said, don't let your studies get in the way of your education. And what that means is, it means a little extra work on the working part. So you've got that paper done by Friday, so you can hop in a car and unlike here, where it might take 2 hours or 6 hours to get to Baguio, or 12 hours to get to Baguio, in the United States, most places you can go 70 miles an hour the entire distance. So you can go a lot of places once you're studying in the United States. You get that work done during the week, and you can see the world. I see our friend who was in Hawaii, which had to go. He kept having to go around the island, but he was used to islands. He's shaking his head, but it's that other part of the education, the non-academic education, that completes the academic part of the education. The Fulbright program is our flagship international education program and is designed to increase mutual understanding between the people of the United States and the people of other countries. And I remember when I was here, I went to one of the receptions for Fulbright alumni, and the great experiences that these folks who had returned, who now had their own careers, whether in arts or in the business, in government, who were at that reception, I can remember very well. Their fond memories of their time, and some of them still had their other parents, their other mother and their other father back in the United States. They still were very close to and occasionally had an opportunity to visit. We are marking our 66th year of the Fulbright program in the Philippines, making it the longest continuously operating Fulbright commission in the world. Nearly 3,000 Filipino students and professionals are current or former Fulbright scholars. Fulbright scholars have produced generations of leaders in the arts, humanities, social sciences, education, business, media, agriculture, and public service. And as I travel around the world, I meet those Fulbright scholars who really are continuing to contribute not only to their country, but to an understanding of our two countries and the relationships between the countries. For 75 years, the State Department has administered exchange programs. During the last several years, more than 300,000 participants from around the world have traveled to the United States in one of these programs. People-to-people international exchange programs improve our understanding of different cultures and viewpoints, build language and leadership skills, and enhance economic prosperity and security. Our exchange alumni include 385 current or former heads of state, 63 Nobel laureates, and thousands of leaders across the government, private and non-profit sectors. These opportunities help citizens of all countries better understand the people of the United States and gain skills and experiences that will carry with them forever. Finally, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Intern and Summer Work and Travel program. There are many opportunities for interns to hone professional skills through structured programs. Our most popular program in the Philippines is a 4-month summer work and travel program, which allows college and university students to work and travel in the United States during school break. Through the summer work and travel program, Filipino students can live, work in the United States during the summer break before returning to the Philippines to finish their college and universities. There is a broad range of work activities for summer work and travel program participants, with many entry-level service positions in resorts, hotels, restaurants, and amusement parks. And this is very much a part of our culture. When I grew up, I worked at a summer camp every summer through high school and into college. And I worked in a factory and had lots of different experiences. And earning money and earning your own money, it's not a lot of money, but it's an opportunity to see how people interact, see how our businesses work. And our resorts in the summer are a fun place to be when you're off work, and you're there where everybody's coming to enjoy that. National parks, I understand the Filipinos are very, find the national parks a popular program for them. We have what I think is one of the best national park systems in the world because we're such a vast country and we have large areas. Our summer work and travel program has rave reviews from the participants. It's not fancy. Your accommodations may be very simple. You may be sharing your accommodations with other people. You have to work. It's why it's called summer work and travel. But there's also time off to have a lot of fun. And a lot of time the participants build great bonds, and they may be from all over the world. We have a lot of summer work and travel people from Eastern Europe, from Russia, from the stands, and from Asia, Thailand. So it's a great chance to expand your Facebook network around the world. When you participate in one of these programs, everybody gains. You get to know a country that you may have read about or may have visited even on a vacation, but not really gotten to know that well. That's what I found in the Foreign Service. We don't come as a visitor. We come and stay and we learn about your culture. And I have a very different understanding of the Philippines than someone who comes here for a meeting or a short visit. Exchange and study program will give you invaluable experience that you can't get anywhere else, and it can never be taken away from you. It's a gift for the rest of your life. As you meet, study, and work with Americans, they'll come to know you and learn about your country and culture. And that's really exciting. And a lot of these programs are not in the big cities where we do have large immigrant populations. And so sometimes it's the first time they may have met, probably not a Filipino. It's pretty hard to go in the United States and not meet Filipinos, but maybe. First time they met a young Filipino student, maybe. So it's a great opportunity. When you return, of course, you'll share those experiences with your families and have a better understanding of the bigger world that you're working in. Every connection you make plants a seed, and those seeds grow over time, both here in the Philippines and in the United States. You'll help build lasting relationships around the world. Through international exchange, we can open doors and minds, generate innovation and entrepreneurship, fuel economic prosperity, engender respect for diversity, and create a safer world. Mark Twain, and I don't have the exact quote, but he said something about travel is the biggest enemy of prejudice. Because once you've traveled around, you meet people, you live with them, you understand that their differences are just differences. And they're interesting, and they're an asset rather than something that you have to deal with. So I just hope that you'll think about this, both those here in the room and those who are online. A great opportunity. I would love to see many, many more students studying in the United States from the Philippines, because I think you'd be a great asset to our campuses. And we have the widest variety of educational opportunities, from community colleges to state universities to religious schools, all the way to the Ivy League. So there's a school for everybody. My children both did international, went away from the United States, and they came back much richer. And they both ended up marrying people from other countries too, so it really provided a diverse experience for them. So thank you very much. I think we're going to go to a discussion at this time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. Before we get our discussion started and open it up to questions and answers, I'd like to introduce our distinguished group of panelists. May we start with Ms. Missy, please? Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I'm Missy Mara Mara. I'm a Fulbright scholar who studied in the University of Arkansas to get my MFA in theater. I am currently teaching in the Ateneo de Manila University in the English department and the Fine Arts program. I am more than willing to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Missy. Mr. E.G., please.
Aloha, everyone. My name is EJ Hernandez. I'm from Davao City, and I graduated from Brigham Young University, Hawaii for my undergraduate degree, pursued business management, and I'm now working for BPI Phil-Am, or American International Assurance Philippines. And I was once like you guys, sitting there dreaming of studying in America, and I'm here to tell you that it can happen. Thanks.
Thank you, EJ. Please have a seat. Thank you. And Ms. Marilu, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mary Lou Conanan, and I used to be a J1 internship program participant. So I stayed in the United States for 18 months doing management training, and I was very lucky because my former VP asked me if I want to return to US under the H-1B visa, which is the working visa. So I worked for a US State Department program sponsor, and we were doing 3 programs: the work and travel, the trainee, and the internship program. So I stayed in the US for almost 8 years, and I recently returned to Philippines to pursue my executive MBA at Asian Institute of Management. I am a member of YC the Young Southeast Asian Leadership Initiative. So I encourage everybody to join that program. And we are also currently working with the U.S. Embassy, trying to establish the very first J1 Alumni Association, I think here in the Philippines and also quite possibly in Asia. So I'm very, very excited about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilu. Now I'd like to introduce Ms. Charlene.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Charlene. I work here as a consular officer at the embassy, so I get to chat with people looking to tour and study in the United States every morning. I'm very excited to be here. It's been about 1 year for me here in the Philippines, and I'm really happy to answer any questions you might have about visas today.
Thank you. And last but not least, Ms. Khan.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. My name is Con Valdecañas. I'm an educational advisor working off at the Philippine American Educational Foundation, which is also known as the Fulbright Commission here in the Philippines. I look forward to answering some of your questions.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guest panelists, for being with us here today. Before we open up questions to the audience and to our online viewers, a couple of our panelists have some questions for the senior advisor. So please, there is a mic here, and there's another mic as well. Please feel free. Thank you.
All right. Senior Advisor Donahue, I was a J1 visa holder, and for the benefit of the ones attending here, it's basically a student visa where you're sponsored, and there's a 2-year rule. Most of it has a 2-year rule. And my question to you, Senior Advisor Donahue, would be, why did the United States create a J1 visa when there's already an F1 visa? And could you tell us the reason why there's a 2-year rule? I think.
That's a very good question. And it's one that a lot of people ask us, because when we did exchange programs, especially the Fulbright program, but other exchange programs, one of the main focuses at the time, and continues to be, that our exchange programs, the idea is that you come to the United States, you get this experience, education, training, and you bring it back and enrich your country, that you bring skills that aren't already available there, and that you use it back in your country. And so we want people to come back at least for 2 years. We hope they find a career like our friends here who have done so well, and like yourself. But we don't want to contribute to the brain drain of every country, although we know we're in a very mobile world, and people will settle where the opportunities are there, or where they fall in love in some cases. That's all a part of life. But the idea with the exchange program is that it is an exchange. We hope that we also have, in the Fulbright program and other programs, we have Americans that come here, and they do the same thing, and they bring whatever knowledge and experiences they can back to the United States, and make us more competitive if it's a business type thing, or make us more understanding, or become more creative if they're an artist, because they've seen other types of art. They've been to other museums in other countries. So that was the idea behind it, and we think it's been very effective, and we've got some good examples of it right here.
Sir, you mentioned about the process of applying for universities. Then there's the F1 visa that was mentioned, the regular study abroad, and there's also the J1 where you have to come back for 2 years. Would you suggest that students who are applying to the United States apply first before they get the J1 or the F1, or should they start with the visa first before getting the university slot?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, they really don't have much choice. They have to, as you probably know, they have to first get admitted to a program. Both of these programs, the first requirement is the form authorizing your participation in the program, so that the institution itself or the sponsoring organization, in the case of a J program, will issue the forms, and then with that form, you can apply. So the very first thing, particularly in student visas, is to find the right school, and that's where you can find assistance from the educational foundation here to help you find the right school that fits you, because not everything is, one size doesn't fit all. We have very rural universities. Some towns, the biggest thing in town is the college or university. We have universities in New York City, and some people are very comfortable, are uncomfortable to be out in the middle of Arkansas. Yeah. And some people love it, as you can see. Love it. And other people love to be at Fordham in New York City, in the hustle and bustle of a big city. So the first thing you do is find that school, and we can help you do that. Find that school that matches your personal likes. My school was the only thing in town. It was a very small town of probably 300 people. It was actually a Catholic monastery, and it was up on a hill in the middle of nowhere. But for me, it was beautiful, and I have great memories of my school.
So, sir, once they have their institution, how do they know if they should apply for a J1 or an F1?
And the institution will provide that to you. It's by the form, the I-20 for the student visa, and I'm going back to old form, but the DS 2016? 2019, so yeah, thank you. I have to ask all the experts. There was an old name, you can tell how old I am. But they'll send you the correct form, and the form will also inform you of what are the minimum requirements. Some of our schools are very selective. Some schools have as low as 4 or 5% acceptance rate, much like the Philippines. And then some schools allow everyone, and it's what we call sink or swim. Those are best for people who are self-motivated, because while they want everyone to succeed, they do not have the extra support to help, especially in many cases, international students to succeed. Some do, but they do not have a requirement to get in the first place. And they may provide remedial help. For instance, if you're not comfortable writing long essays in English, they may provide remedial English to help with those things. But each school is different, and they will, on the form, inform the consular officer of what are the minimum requirements that they believe you have to come there. You have English, or they're going to provide ESL. How are you going to pay for it? And when you need to arrive in the school to begin your academic studies or your exchange program.
Thank you, sir. We have one final question from Mary Lou.
So let's say I'm a J1 participant and I am enjoying my J1 program. Let's say it's a internship program. And on the 6th month, I have decided I wanted to stay longer. So how do I switch to an F1, an H1, or to permanent residency, if that's even doable? Because that's a lot of questions that a lot of our students are asking.
Certainly, there are a lot of interest in doing different things and extending. A lot of people do extend their time in the United States. All of the extensions will require an explanation, an understanding. It may be getting the DS 2019 because you're going from a student visa to an exchange visitor program. It may be that you need to get another I-20 from the new institution. And then the application process is with the Department of Homeland Security, and you file online now. You can file online for extension and adjustment of status if that's required. It is very important when you're in the United States to adhere very, very closely to the permissions that you've been given for how long you can stay. Another thing is that our visas are permission to apply for admission to the United States. They have nothing to do with your status in the United States. So when you enter as a student, for instance, and you may have a 2-year studies program, you will receive, when you enter on in your passport, they'll put the letters DS in there. That means duration of status. And you can maintain your status. But if takes you 3 years rather than 2 years to complete your course, which is unfortunately common in the United States, it takes a little bit longer if it's a hard course. You can stay in the United States, but when you leave, your visa will have probably expired and you will need to apply for a new visa at home. So it's important to plan your breaks around and make sure before you leave the United States that you have the proper documentation, or apply for it back here in Manila when you're home for say the Christmas holidays. Does that answer that? Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much. And now I'd like to take this opportunity to open up the floor to any questions from the audience. You can ask any question you'd like. It's your opportunity. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I don't know which person could best answer this question, but there have been concerns regarding the immigration reform. So if any, do you think that will have an impact on the cultural exchange programs? Thank you.
The immigration reform is a very interesting topic, and it's certainly something I spend a lot of time working with in the department, as we haven't legislated any, but we do have some immigration reform that has been decreed by the president within his authorities. As far as student visas, one thing that people don't understand, and a misconception, is that there are numerical limits on student visas or exchange visitors. There are no limits, and there are no limits on B1, B2 visas. There are some limits, as you know, on certain categories of immigrant visas, and there are limits on certain categories of work visas. But those categories, students, we've gone from, it wasn't that long ago that we had about 500,000 students, international students in the United States, and now we're up to 800,000 to 1 million. I don't know, the numbers vary. So there is no limit. We welcome international students, and I expect it to go up quite a bit more. So that will not be the reason if you are unsuccessful or someone's unsuccessful and get a visa. There is not a reason that, and the officers don't have quotas. They will issue 100% of the eligible applicants. Am I right?
Absolutely. If we find the applicants are eligible and they're qualified, then we're happy to issue all of those visas.
That's right. So if you don't qualify, it's because you haven't met one of the other requirements. That cover your question? And we don't expect that to change. There's nothing that has been written so far on immigration reform has ever looked at limiting students or exchange visitors.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. I'm Laika Pantaleon. Just a question for the Fulbright scholars. I know a lot of us want to know your experience in the States as a Fulbright scholar. And what is it that you look for in aspiring Fulbright scholars? Thank you.
I'll have the Fulbright alumna answer the question in terms of experience, and then I'll follow it up with what we're looking for.
It was the most amazing experience of my life. It was great because you get to meet so many different people from all walks of life, from all different parts of the world, and you're all there knowing that you're offering the best of your country and you're open to the best of what their countries have to have. It's also seeing things that are completely different. You think you know the United States because you watch movies, you watch TV all the time. No. and then suddenly you see it for yourself. I saw it for myself, the vast highways, the vast Walmart, and the turkey, everything was just amazing. But at the same time, it wasn't easy. It's a first world, and it has its difficulties. You really have to keep working hard. You have to keep an open mind because things are completely different from being Filipino, right? Being on your own, learning how to bake. No traffic. What do you mean no traffic? 2 hours. I'm here already, in like the other part of the country. Things like that. But I guess the experience was about being open to things as small as why they leave at 16, why their parents will, why they will choose to put their parents in a home. To Philippines, like, no. But then once you're there and you see the dynamics, and that's what's best for them, it makes sense. And not all Americans apparently are like that. It was really great to have some stereotypes get dispelled, and some new some to be reinforced. And what was mentioned earlier about what Fulbright said, being putting places and people and names to concepts, it was really wonderful. I have an American family, the Joss dads, and they would explain things like football, and it's like, oh, that's so fascinating. And you'd see how they're also very Filipino, and how we're also very American, and why we're not and why they're not. Am I making sense? Yeah. And why certain things are the way they are. One of the greatest things I learned is being early is on time, being on time is late, and being late is unacceptable.
All right. For the Fulbright program, we have the Fulbright Graduate Student Program. This is for those who are interested to pursue master's or PhD in the United States. So we're looking for those who have already completed their bachelor's degree here in the Philippines, or preferably in the Philippines, and have had at least 2 years of professional work experience. That professional work experience should be related to what you are proposing to do in the United States. What we're looking for also are those who are committed to return to the country, because as what has been mentioned earlier, the Fulbright program is an exchange program, and we are looking for people who are willing to learn, not only for their own personal and professional growth, but who are also willing to return to the country and contribute to the development of our country. If you want to know more about the Fulbright program, we are currently running the competition for academic year 2016-2017, and it's on our website.
I just want to add to the experience. What Sir said about don't let your studies get in the way of your education. The University of Arkansas allowed me to train in New York with a Technologic Theater project. So the nice thing about the universities in the States is they would give the graduate students a budget to go to conferences, to be able to do training for like a week. And they were also very supportive with travel grants and finding other people to come in to the university from other states to teach us techniques and other subjects that were not being offered. So things like that in the States is very, very generously given. The universities have so much resources, computers and books, and even you can even borrow from different libraries from a different university. It's a wealth of resources that are very generously offered once you're there.
Thank you. I'd like to take a question from Facebook at this time. This is from Roque Alak. He would like to study in New York, but he wants to learn more about scholarship opportunities and funding options to help finance his education in the United States.
Right, funding opportunities. I would like to know, Roque, is it Roque? If you are interested to pursue undergraduate studies or graduate studies in New York. And just the first point is, why only focus in New York? Because, as was mentioned again earlier, it's not one size fits all. So you'd have to identify a school which fits your needs. So maybe one school in New York can fit that need, but there may also be a lot more other schools in other states that will fit your need. So if on the undergraduate level, funding will have to be directly from universities. So as you apply for admission in US universities in the undergraduate level, you'd also have to watch out for announcements on financial assistance. On the undergraduate level also, a lot of the scholarships are merit-based. So how well you did in high school, were you a student leader, your extracurricular activities, those count onto being awarded a scholarship. For the graduate level, there are also different types of scholarships. There could be also assistantships and fellowships offered by the university. But first things first, try to evaluate yourself. What are you looking for in a university? What do you need? And what do you want to pursue? And that will lead you to a set of schools where you should probably try applying for.
Just quickly on scholarships, this is something that American students going to American universities spend a lot of time on too. And I talked about the hard part, and the hard part, we start very young. We start at 2 years and 3 years before we're entering university with the visiting process and the search process that she's talking about. I was overseas, but I would go home in the summer and take my daughters around to possible schools that they might be interested in attending. And then you have to really look for different types of scholarships. There are a lot of different ones out there. I think the Advising Center can help you too a little bit, but it's work. And you have to show why you fit into their scheme. For instance, I think there's a scholarship program for folks from Asia. And you have to find things that might fit your personal need. And the other thing that your parents might have to consider, most Americans, it's kind of like a tripod for most Americans. One is scholarship. One of the parts of the tripod is your own funds. And then the third part may be loans or forgiveness from the school. So it's a negotiated process that we all go through also with our families. But there are a lot of schools that, as part of their marketing of their school, they talk about their diversity at the school and how many international students they have. So that's one thing in your advantage.
Thank you. We can take a question from the audience. Yes, sir.
I'm actually good morning. I'm a graduating senior high school student, and I'm inquiring whether what are the qualifications for the study abroad program that Senior Advisor Donahue had mentioned. And I'd also like to inquire whether international students, just like me, whether I'm qualified for the Fulbright scholarship in the programs.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is EJ. I'm sorry. Basically, I pursued my undergraduate in BYU Hawaii, and the question that you had was, could you qualify for Fulbright? The forthright answer is not yet, because Fulbright, as Ms. Khan mentioned, is for masters and PhDs. However, I do want to go back to, I want to answer your question, and I do want to go back to the question raised by Roque, wherein how can you apply for scholarships or how can you be qualified? Basically, what you have to do is develop in yourself the thirst or being hungry to really fulfill your dreams. I'm sorry for being too spiritual or very passionate about this, but this is what happened to me. I was a high school student in Philippine Women's College in Davao. And I remember being I watched Hollywood movies, Hollywood TV shows, and I wanted to study abroad or in America, to the point that I was so hungry finding out how to do it. When I look at newspapers, I would look at opportunities. Okay, there's this study in America fair. I went to that fair back when I was in high school, 13 years old. I don't have the money. My parents don't have the money for it. But I found that because of being hungry. Another thing would be Education USA, or Philippine American Educational Foundation. It's their job, it's their passion to basically help Filipino youth to study in America. You just have to basically reach out. They are coaches, they are mentors. So when you contact them, or when you go, for example, in De La Salle University in Manila, they have an advising center over there. There will be a coach or an advisor, or Ms. Con will be the advisor in Manila, and they will teach you. But the most important thing would be to work while you're in high school. Extracurriculars. Academics is also good. Work on that and be hungry. Google search scholarships, and I found that. I found it in Google search number 43. That's Google search 43. That's how hungry I was. So I hope I answered your question, and Ms. Con might, or
Assuming you're
Missy.
hungry and everyone who is hungry is in the competition with you. This is a very important point. You have to have that first. And then now when you're in the running with all the other hungry people, what will give you the edge is knowing what you have that you can give and offer the Philippines that no one else can, that none of these hungry people can. Because this scholarship is given to you in the hopes that you will do something good. Yes, for yourself, yes, for your dream, but also for the people who it is coming from. That scholarship, this grant money, is a community fund given to you so that you can benefit the community. So find what skill set you have that you can give into this program, harness it, make it even better through this American process so that the Philippines can benefit as well.
Thank you.
That's why you have to go home for 2 years at least.
Yes.
Okay, anything else on that question? Okay, so we're going to take a question from Twitter, and then we'll go back to the audience. So this is from Denaline Solidares. She says, "Hi, I'm a fresh grad, currently on my first job. What are the best, what exchange opportunities are there for me?" So she's graduated, her bachelor's already, she's working. Could we tell her a little bit about some exchange opportunities that might be suitable for her? Thank you, Mary Lou.
So the internship program provides opportunities for senior college students or fresh graduates. So it really depends on the course that she's studying. She needs to start the internship program, though, at least 1 year before she finished her undergrad studies. So let's say she graduated in March 2014. That means she needs to start her internship by March 2015. Otherwise, it's not going to be internship anymore. She would fit into a different category. That would be a trainee program. So the internship program is a J1 program, and typically the internship program lasts from 6 months up to 1 year. And the most popular internship programs are related to business, hotel and restaurant management, because we have a lot of hotel and restaurant management students, information technology, engineering. You just need to find the right program sponsor who can sponsor you. So each program sponsor actually have their own specific designation. So not all program sponsors can help you if, let's say, you're an engineering graduate. Not all program sponsors have that designation, but you can get a lot of the information, the right program sponsor. If you go to, if you just Google U.S. State Department J1 program sponsors, and then they'll give you a link of all the list of program sponsors that you can contact, and then it also screens the program that you're looking for, let's say internship, and then it'll give you the information on the program sponsors that can help you. But I think internship program would be the most suitable for her. And just like with the Fulbright, the internship program is designed to assimilate international students into the workplace in the United States, learn how they work. Just like what Missy said, you know, punctuality is very important in the US, the communication style, being able to talk to different types of people. These are the things that you want to learn, and then hopefully after learning that, you come back with a lot of experiences and then share it, you know, to other Filipino people who are not so privileged to get into the program or so fortunate to get into the program. But
to add a bit onto that, from the consular officer perspective, so if you want to do a traineeship or an internship, that's fine. We just look at when you graduate, if it's been under 12 months or over 12 months. But when I'm looking at these applications, what I really am looking for is that applicants are pursuing programs that will really help them in their career. So you're looking for some kind of program that really helps build skills that you can really use for the long term and really helps with the direction you've been going, what you've been studying. So it's great to look for a sponsor and look for these opportunities. As mentioned, just really give a lot of thought to programs that really build up the skill set so that you're better prepared for your career in the long term.
Thank you. And now we'll take a question from the audience. Mr. in the white shirt.
Good morning, I am Aloy Santos. As mentioned, the competition for Fulbright scholarship is severe and unending. Can you tell us more about the screening process? What is the key determinant to be such grantee, and how many students get admitted on that program per year?
Guess that's my cue. The Fulbright Graduate Student Program runs every year through a competition. So any Filipino citizen can apply to the program for as long as he or she meets the general eligibility requirements. We do the first screening through paper application. So the application form, together with the transcript, the recommendation letters, The application also includes essays. So everything is done through the paper application. That's the first screening. We receive about close to 200 applications every year, and we have about 8 or 9 awards to give for students. During the first screening, the paper application, we try to weed out those who did not meet the general eligibility requirements or probably would still need a little bit of ripening, so to speak, in terms of maybe work experience or refinement in the proposal that the student or applicant has written on the application. After that has been done, the second round would be to forward these applications. There is a national screening committee, which is composed of all Fulbright alumni who know very well what is being sought for, what we're looking for, and what we're hoping to get as Fulbright grantees. From that, again, paper application, we trim down the applications to a fewer number and invite the strong applications to come for an interview. There will be a panel interview, again, of Fulbright alumni as the selection committee, and that's where that should be the final screening phase. Then the the PIF board approves the shortlisted applicants. Then from there, they are called the Fulbright candidates because while they have the Fulbright Scholarship Award, they would still have to apply to schools in the US for admission. Okay, so the scholarship is awarded first before you actually apply to universities in the US.
Thank you. Now we're going to take another question from our Facebook page. This is from Jasmine De La Cruz. Jasmine wants to ask about the requirements needed to apply for a student visa.
So if we're talking about the F1 visa, which is the visa for students looking to get a degree in the United States, then we need to see that you've applied to school, you've been accepted. That comes in the I-20 form, so that and then when I'm talking with students, I'll be asking about how are you going to pay for your program? What are you studying? Why does it make sense for you? Is this your first degree? I'll see students who are going to be to study in the United States who maybe just finished high school and then are going directly into college in the US, or sometimes people are going for a higher degree. Some people are going for a graduate master's degree. So in those situations, I'll just want to see, I want to hear about your story, what your progression is, why you're going for if you're going for a graduate degree, what did you study in undergrad? Does it make sense? How are you covering the funds? And then what are your plans when you return? All of those kinds of issues. In terms of the actual requirements, so of course, if you go online, then we'll need the basic application, all that filled out. There's the fee. You'll need to pay the SEVIS fee, which is separate for students. It's an additional fee on top of the application fee, as well as see that form from your school. Online, if you go to our website, it'll list all of those requirements in detail. But really, when you come for the interview, I'll really want to hear more about how this program really makes sense for your situation and what you'll be doing after you finish your studies.
Thank you. So all the information and requirements can be found on the embassy's website as well. Thank you so much. Okay, let's open it up to another question. We haven't had one from the back over here. Yes, please. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kayla, an undergrad from De La Salle. I just would like to ask about the YCLE program. So my friend and I are interested in joining. How will we know that we're qualified to join?
And what are the things that we have to consider before joining your organization?
Okay, as far as I'm aware of, the YCLE is open to everybody between the ages of 18 years old up to 35 years old. Please correct me about the 18-year-old part. Sorry? That's correct. Okay. You're a YC member also? You should. So basically, that's it. That's the basic qualification. And then once you go to the website, the www.yclead.org, you just apply, and then they're going to confirm if you have been accepted. And they're a very inclusive organization. They want to get as many members as possible. And you're going to start receiving updates. And it's very fortunate because a lot of the activities are actually being done here in Manila, but they also reach out to other regions in the Philippines, for example, like Cebu or Davao. And I highly, highly encourage for you to go to the events because you meet different kinds of people. The first time I attended a YCLE event, I did an elevator pitch. I lost the contest though, but somebody else won. But I was pitching for the J1 Alumni Association, and then I heard other people talk about rehabilitating a river, or they're discussing about entrepreneurship, or they're discussing about ASEAN Youth Forum. And I know that the YCLE sends out delegates to different parts in Asia. Like I know somebody who just came from Indonesia along with his 5 other friends. And there's a group of journalists that went to United States to go to Chicago Tribune, to New York Times. So they offer those programs. Aside from the Fulbright or the internship program, they offer those things. And even I don't know the full extent of what YCLE offers, but I know that they're very open to young leaders such as yourselves. The 4 ideals or the 4 core values of YCLE is civic activity. So if you're into engaging into community services, yesterday we had the very first YCLE meeting for the entire year. I think one is promoting like clean water, and they have already disseminated 1,600 filters to different barangays here in the Philippines. So those small things. The other one is economic development. So if you have new ideas and you have an inner entrepreneur, and you can think of products that are not yet available in the market, but you know will benefit people. So you can give that value to the organization. So civic movement, entrepreneurship,
environment.
Environment, of course. River rehabilitation, and I'm missing one. Education. So those are the 4 core values of YC. But please go. I could discuss it with you further. I think they have a booth.
Yeah, thank
outside.
you for that. Yeah, we have a YCLE booth, information booth following this session, but just in a nutshell, YCLE was founded in 2013 by President Obama. It's an initiative to connect young people and give young people the opportunity to avail of different resources throughout ASEAN. And so if you're between 18 and 35 years old and you have a passion or desire to foster change in your communities and across ASEAN in these 4 themes that Mary Lou just entered, I would encourage you to become a member. Membership is free, and it allows you to have opportunities for training, to participate in regional workshops, and also YCLE members have access to grant money for different projects that revolve around the 4 themes of YCLE. But you can learn lots more about that following the program. Okay, I think we have time for a couple of more, maybe 1 or 2 more questions here, and then we'll go here, okay? Sir? And then ma'am.
Thank you. Hi, good morning. My name is Ivan, and I studied in the US a couple of years ago, and I'm curious if the embassy or the Fulbright program has perhaps any aspects to it or resources that students from the Philippines who want to go live in the US and study in the US, for them to really find out and learn, even before they go to the US, what life in the US is like. And by that, I mean not just the academic aspect of it, as you were touching on earlier, but how people in neighborhoods, and not necessarily affluent neighborhoods, but perhaps coming from the poorer spectrum of the United States population really live. I feel like that during my time there, well, I studied, in central Boston. I studied in downtown Boston. I would take the red line up from South Boston, where I lived in a mixed Vietnamese and Black neighborhood, and I really enjoyed being among the people there. And also, I would go to Harvard and MIT a couple of times, but more often than not, I would take the red line. I would go to like Wollaston, Quincy, Mass. I would go all around and see all these neighborhoods, see how all these people lived. And then I feel like my time doing temp work there taught me more about how people are, struggling to get along here. Same as here in the Philippines, because I feel there's this perception that among Filipino students that they go there, everything will be great for the rest of their lives, everyone is living it up there, when that is not the reality at all. So I'm wondering if there are like resources that we could be able to share with applicants and students to show them really how life is going on in the US, and maybe some of the realities there.
For the programs that the Fulbright Commission here in the Philippines administers, we hold a pre-departure orientation for 2 days, which does not only discuss, which prepares our scholars to enter and to start their program in the US. It doesn't only handle academic adjustments, but also the social aspects of living in the US, and also discussing about culture shock. And after the program, the reverse culture shock when they're ready to return back home. For our advisees in the Education USA Advising Services, we also have that pre-departure orientation session. All you have to do is, if once you're ready to start your program, you've been admitted to a US university, you've received your student visa, schedule an appointment with us. We'll be glad to give you the pre-departure orientation. We don't allow our scholars and our advisees to leave the Philippines, especially for first-timers and are not prepared to be in the US.
To add on to that, I would also recommend once someone knows where they want to study, or if they've been accepted somewhere and they haven't left the Philippines yet, then just reach out to that university. They've probably had many international students before, so they'll have a lot of resources, links, information about the local dynamic for wherever you're going, the city or whatever part of the region. And so they'll be a wonderful resource to get some insight about the social realities to wherever you're going.
And if they can get in touch with the Filipino community in that university, in that area, via Facebook, very helpful, because they're going to tell you a lot of things that as a Filipino, being in that specific area, they would need to know and be prepared for.
Thank you. Okay. Ma'am, would you like to ask a question?
Hi, good morning. My name is Siti Norhani Lau. I'm currently in my second year in law school. I want to find out, because every time I try to search for programs available for law students, mostly are limited to Masters of Law and Juris Doctor programs. Since there was a mentioning of the J1 internship and training programs, I want to find out if it's also possible for law students to go through the same thing.
As far as I'm aware of, unfortunately, like the program sponsor that I am working for does not have the law internship designation, but I can look further into it and then look for the right program sponsor that can help you. But as far as I'm aware of, it is being offered. So you're a second year law student looking for opportunities to get internship experience in the US. I'll look it up. I'm 99.9% sure. I just need to get the name of the right program sponsor. I could look for my contacts and ask them. We can talk more about this later.
Another aspect of US law is that quite often it is a graduate program that we take people from diverse backgrounds in their undergraduate program, and then they start pursuing law only at the end of that as their graduate program. So there are a lot of depending on what you're going to be in, a business internship would be appropriate, even if it's not with the legal department of that office, because as a lawyer for a business, you would need to know those kinds of things. I don't know if you have any other thoughts about that, but it's people, lawyers like foreign service officers come from a diverse undergraduate programs in the United States. It's usually something you decide after you've graduated on your undergraduate.
For the J1s, I've never seen anyone actually an applicant who specialized in law going for a program. That doesn't mean it's not possible, but it'd be best to reach out to the sponsor organizations and see what they can do with you, if they can work with you on that, and if there's available opportunities.
Thank you. Thank you. There's really all great questions. Unfortunately, we're out of time at this point, so the Visa Hour Live must come to a close. But Charlene and Con will be available following the end of the program, straight back in the atrium to answer any questions you have about Fulbright opportunities, study opportunities in the United States, as well as visa questions. There'll also be a YSEALI information booth. You can get all the information there and you can sign up. As well as our Thomas Jefferson Information Center has a booth about the different resources and programs we have at the American Embassy. Before I let everyone go, I just want to say if you have any other questions that aren't addressed here, or for those of you online, if you have visa questions, please contact us at consmanilaniv@state.gov. That's CONS Manila NIV at state.gov, or you can visit our website, manila.usembassy.gov. We always have somebody available to take your questions. Also, we have a blog on visas, blogs.usembassy.gov. It's the Be Satisfied Voyager. So we post different information on our blog, so please visit it if you can. This event, this program is being live streamed, but you can rewatch it or tell your friends about it on our YouTube, the Embassy's YouTube channel. Also, the Embassy has a Facebook page, a Twitter account, Google+, and Instagram. So please follow us if you don't already follow us. We have a lot of diverse programs, projects, opportunities available for just about everyone. So do keep in touch with us. And before I invite you all to enjoy some refreshments and donuts and juice, I would like to give our panelists and our special guest a big round of applause. Thank you all very much, and thank you for joining us today. And now please, we'll open the back doors and